Locked On MLB. Your daily MLB podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello, baseball fans. Welcome to Locked On MLB, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. This is the daily podcast. We talk about all of Major League Baseball. I'm your host, Paul Francis Sullivan. Please call me Sully. Thanks for making Locked On MLB your first listen every day, where we're free and available on all platforms, including here on YouTube and all the places where you get your podcasts. This show is available on all your podcatchers, and if you happen to have a smart device in your car or in your home, be sure to tell it to play podcast Locked On MLB. We are dropping this episode late on the 6th day of October, maybe the 7th, depending on which time zone you're in. The Dodgers just eliminated the St. Louis Cardinals, and we are going to have the matchup of the two best teams in baseball, the Giants and the Dodgers, in what should be an absolutely fantastic division series. You can also follow us, by the way, on Twitter at Locked On MLB Pod. Same handle for Instagram. I'm your pal Sully. I'm at Sully Baseball on Twitter, Sully Baseball Podcast on Instagram. So I can do a recap of what happened in the game, but let's hear from two of the voices of the Locked On Podcast Network. First, we're going to hear from Jeff Snyder of the victorious Locked On Dodgers, who happened to be at the game.
The game's been over for about 10 minutes, but nobody's going anywhere. It's Jeff from Locked On Dodgers. Dodgers win 3-1 on a walk-off homer by Chris Taylor. The crowd loves it. I love it. Yeah, Taylor! That's all there is to say. Great pitching matchup, blah, 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 blah. Great game, blah, 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 blah. Dodgers win. See you in San Francisco. Check out Locked On Dodgers in the morning. Like you do every morning. I don't know what to say. Dodgers win.
Well, I hope you're having fun there, Jeff. You sound like you're having fun. It was quite a game. It was quite a thrilling game to be there. On the other side of the coin, friend of the podcast, Lucas Smith, host of Locked On Cardinals, has his thoughts.
The St. Louis Cardinals season is over. Chris Taylor with a walk-off home run sends the Cardinals home as the Dodgers win 3-1 in the National League wildcard game. I'm Lucas Smith, host of the Locked On Cardinals podcast. At the end of the day, the better team won. Dodgers were the better team. Cardinals fought with them to the last batter, literally, 1-1. Yes, they got the run on a wild pitch, but this team fought in this game. Overall in the season, we can talk about the bad June that put them in this position, but this team fought in this last game. Offense didn't have their best game. You can't go 0 for 11 with runners in scoring position and expect to win many postseason games. You just can't. This Cardinal team, the offense tonight was won back in June. I talked about it on the episode today, saying that the Cardinals could not have the offense that they had back in June, and that's what they had. Unable to score more than one run, unable to come through with runners in scoring position. Adam Wainwright did his job. For the most part, the bullpen did his job. We'll talk about the bullpen management on tomorrow's episode. With where they were in June, and even with where they were going into September, this was a successful season for the Cardinals. However, overall, when you look at it, this team had division championship aspirations, and they fell short of that. So give them credit for fighting back in September. Give them credit for fighting in this game. But overall, we'll talk about the overall ramifications of the 2021 season on tomorrow's episode. So hope you join in on tomorrow's episode of Locked On Cardinals, whether it's on YouTube or your favorite podcasting platform. Congratulations to the Dodgers as they continue on to the 2021 National League Division Series, breaking down the Cardinals' loss and the overall season on tomorrow's episode.
Well, hey, Lucas, you had a fun year. You had a great winning streak. And I have to tell you that just a couple of thoughts of the game itself. First of all, Taylor made a great catch to help stymie one of the innings and, of course, hit the walk-off home run. So this is going to be forever the Chris Taylor game when Dodger fans talk about this and when people think about this game. And it is similar to the Dave Henderson game or the Dave Roberts game or the Aaron Boone game, where the player who becomes synonymous with the game, the highlight that is synonymous with the game, didn't start. Dave Henderson didn't start Game 5 of the 86 ALCS. That was started by Tony Armas. Aaron Boone did not start Game 7 of the 2003 ALCS. Enrique Wilson did. Dave Roberts actually never played the field. He came in as a pinch runner for Kevin Millar, and Taylor did not start today. Pollock did, and Taylor came in basically as a defensive replacement, made the great catch, hit the walk-off home run, and Lucas made the right point that the better team won. I mean, it would have been an amazing story for the St. Louis Cardinals, but it didn't happen. I'll tell you, 2 Cardinal victories popped into my head. Both games started by Yadier Molina. 2 games kept popping into my head as it kept being tied later and later. The Cardinals scored on the wild pitch. Turner hit the home run. I think they pulled Scherzer too early. I'm really of the mindset of let's push that starting pitcher, especially when you could have a parade of pitchers, and if this went deep into extra innings. Granted, they had Urias, who he could have gone, but they wouldn't have had Buehler. I would rather have had Scherzer rather than Joe Kelly pitch, but it's tough to quibble with because it wound up working. But Scherzer he's a different kind of pitcher. And when you have someone like him, he is someone who could make the adjustments to pitch well. And the fact that the final score was 3-1, he let up a wild pitch in the first, and that was the only scoring let up. It wasn't like he was getting tagged. I understand he wasn't about to throw a complete game. I think he could have gone 5 or pitched into the 6. But again, who am I to quibble because the Dodgers won? And you could make the point that they left Wainwright in too early. They had a chance to pinch hit for him, and they didn't, and they brought him out again, and he only got 1 out. This is the sort of decision-making, by the way, people who think I'm stupid for not wanting to have a universal DH. I like that kind of decision-making. Like, well, what do? You have your ace. Do you have him come in again? Do you don't have him come in? You make those decisions. That's kind of fun, okay? That's strategy that I like. I know the universal DH people say, but me like home runs. But you know what? I like trying to make those decisions. And Schilt took a chance saying, you know what? I have my ace going. I'm going to have him go. And then it didn't work out, and they had to pull him. Now, that's not what cost them the game. It was tied going into the 9th. But anyway, the 2 Cardinal games that popped into my mind were the Andy Chavez game and the game where the Cardinals eliminated the Phillies in 2011. Both years where the Cardinals faced a far superior team and upset them in finales that were absolute classics. It was 1-1 going to the 9th inning of Game 7 of the 2006 National League Championship Series when Yadier Molina homered. That was the game where Andy Chavez made the amazing catch off of what would have been a 2-run homer by Scott Rowland, and he turned it into an incredible double play. Still one of the greatest plays I ever saw in my life. And it ended with Adam Wainwright getting a called 3rd strike on Carlos Beltran. Just to give you an idea of how long ago that was 2006. Wainwright threw that pitch to Yadier Molina. The starting pitcher tonight was Wainwright. The starting catcher was Yadier Molina. And sitting behind home plate as a fan was Donald Trump, who at the time was the host of The Apprentice. That's all I'll say about that. And the Cardinals wound up winning that. And then the other game was when Carpenter, again, pitching to Yadier Molina, went up against Roy Halladay when the Phillies had by far the best team in baseball in 2011. And it was a 1-0 final. It ended with Ryan Howard collapsing in a heap, and the Phillies were never the same again. This felt like that. This felt like the Cardinals were on the verge of that kind of great upset in a winner-take-all game, like it happened in 2006, like it happened in 2011. And in both those instances, they were facing the team that were just heads and shoulders better than them. And the Cardinals went on to win the World Series in both 2006 and 2011. And I started getting thoughts of, is this going to be one of those Cardinal years? Is this what we're facing? But no, Taylor hit the home run. And we're going to get that series, the Giants and the Dodgers. And we can be upset that the Giants and Dodgers can't meet in the National League Championship Series, but only the Division Series. But it would be a real shame if the 106-win Dodgers and the 107-win Giants didn't get a chance to collide in the postseason. Because do you know what, quite frankly, That just would have been too bad, because I think that would just be good for baseball to see that matchup. I think it would be fantastic. Now, as for the Cardinals, well, I think they're in good shape. I think they probably need to make a couple of adjustments. They need to pop the hood and find some right parts, kind of like you would with your car if you call Rock Auto. There's so many makes and models. It's impossible for your local chain auto parts store to stock all the parts that you need. And why are you going to endure going to the store, asking these pointless questions, get intimidated, while the guy just goes in the back, types on his computer, and just orders whatever's in the warehouse? Do what you need to do. You got to go to rockauto.com. You can use your computer, your device, wherever you want. You can save time. You can save money by using Rock Auto, which is a family business serving do-it-yourselfers for over 20 years. Rock Auto has prices reliably low for every customer. What you should do is go explore the easy-to-use website today to find the solution for your auto parts needs. Go to rockauto.com right now and see all the parts available for your car or truck, and write Locked On in their "How did you hear about us" box, so they know that we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, and all the parts your car will ever need at rockauto.com. So now we've got the matchup. We've got the matchup between the Giants and the Dodgers. Now, what do we think? What do I think about this matchup? Obviously, it's phenomenal. And we've never had an official postseason series meeting between the Dodgers and the Giants. They, of course, met famously in 1951, where Bobby Thompson hit the home run. They also met in 1962. Both instances, the Giants, whether in New York or San Francisco, wound up winning and going to the World Series. But those were not official National League Championship Series. Those were playoffs, because the Giants and the Dodgers in both those years finished tied. Now they're meeting for an official, real, sanctioned, absolutely true blue postseason series, and it is an absolute coin toss. I don't know who's going to win. It is so razor thin. I have no idea. I have to make a pick. And I'm just going to pick the Giants for this reason. All year long, people have looked at this Giants team and thought they're going to fall apart. They're going to fall just short. They're not going to make it. And all year long, they've made it. Now, I just think that you're going to see a pitching match. They're probably going to start Buehler game 1, Urias game 2, and maybe the Giants are going to throw Gausman. Maybe they're going to show Webb. They're going to show DeSclafani. The names are not quite as intimidating on the Giants side, but they get the job done. You've watched the series all year long. Whenever they've met, it's been razor thin. And you had a home run by Albert Pujols pulled back. It would have been a walk-off home run. You had all sorts of crazy games happen between these two teams. Oh, by the way, I do have to say, just rewinding back a little bit, talk about the Cardinals-Dodgers game from this evening. We all thought when Pujols came up as a pinch hitter in the 9th inning, that was going to be Pujols to hit the home run. We must have all thought that. And when he hit that drive to center field, I don't know. I thought, oh my God, Albert Pujols is about to eliminate the Cardinals with a walk-off home run. That's just surreal. But no, it turned out to be Chris Taylor. But anyway, I mean, there's the one thing that I will say maybe pulling back the Dodgers a little bit is the fact that they do have some injuries, especially to Max Muncy and to Clayton Kershaw. But the Giants have an injury to Brandon Belt. Neither team are at full strength. And both teams are loaded with good, solid pitchers and hitters that, if they get the right hit, would make a lot of damage. I don't know. I'm having a real hard time with making a pick here. And I think that it's pretty easy to see that. I'm going to get into this game big time. Obviously, there's part of me would like to see Los Angeles move on, because I'm living in Los Angeles County. I'm right down the 110 from Dodger Stadium. And I work in a school in Los Angeles County. And I can tell you that I've been here when the Dodgers are in the World Series. And I've been here when the Dodgers are not in the World Series. And there is a buzz, even amongst COVID last year. There is a buzz that happens in LA when the Dodgers are doing well and are playing deep into the World Series. It's palpable. It's real. And I can also tell you that when the Dodgers are not in the World Series, nobody here cares. It's hard for me to talk to people about baseball at work when no one cares. It's a regional thing. So part of me would like to talk about the game with people I work with. That being said, the Giants are my dad's team, and there's just something so darn poetic about my dad's team having their greatest season in terms of regular season and going on to play so well in the postseason. We'll see what happens. I got to make an official pick. I'll make my official pick right now. It's what I said before when I made my official picks. I'm going to pick the Giants in 5. They're so evenly matched. It's going to be a bump here, and there you go. That's all it is. And it'll be a weird thing that happens. It'll be a blue pit. It'll be a misplayed ball. It'll be something strange is going to be the difference between one or the other. Well, I'm going to answer, by the way, a message that I got on my Instagram, and you can send me stuff at Sully Baseball Podcast on Instagram. This is from the Virgo Child. That's their handle on Instagram. It says, "Hey, Sully, I listen to your podcast. Love the insight." Wow, I have got insight, and that's good to know. If you had to pick a team to win the World Series, who would you pick? I think the Brewers. Do you think they're equipped to take down the Giants or Dodgers? Well, I did cover this in my playoff prediction episode. I do think the Milwaukee Brewers are going to win the World Series. Not because I think they're better than the Giants or the Dodgers over 162 games. It's just I think that they have a pitching staff that will neutralize anything positive about the Giants pitching staff or Los Angeles's pitching staff. And I think the other parts of their team are good enough to be able to make it work. So I did cover this in a previous episode, but I'm not going to, you already praised my insight, so I'm not going to criticize you for not knowing that. But I do think the Milwaukee Brewers have the pitching staff and have some of the other elements of the team that make them super dangerous in a short series. Now, they're going to be playing Atlanta. I don't think Atlanta's going to beat them. I just think the Brewers are better than them. I think got the deeper pitching staff. So to answer your question, I think you're right. I think the Brewers have an excellent chance of winning the World Series, going all the way. But so do the Giants and so do the Dodgers. Watch it be the Braves. Watch it be the Braves. I remember in 2011, I mentioned that for the Cardinal connection when the League Championship Series was Brewers, Cardinals, Tigers, Rangers. And I remember thinking everybody but the Cardinals have a realistic shot to win this World Series. And lo and behold, it was the Cardinals who wound up winning the World Series. So maybe their shot was not realistic. That much I can't tell you, but it certainly was a long shot. It certainly was a risky bet if you were going to try to make that. And if you're going to make any bets, go to BetOnline. It's your number one spot for all the pro and college football action this season. And with a new updated site and interface, even more odds, props, and contests, BetOnline continues to be the number one source for everything football. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. And don't forget to use promo code LOCKEDON to receive your bonus from football, baseball, basketball, boxing, right to your favorite Las Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts. Games are going to start in the afternoon. This is one of my favorite parts of the year when you start to have playoff baseball in the middle of the afternoon. And, your pal Sully works hard all day. I work hard for the money. I gotta be honest, you don't ever treat me right. But Donna Summer notwithstanding, I love it when there are games that are taking place at 10, 11 a.m., 12 noon, California time. The poor Astros and the Cardinals are never going to get respect and never get the high profile position because they're going to put that with Tampa and Boston. I picked the Houston Astros to win that series. With Red Sox Rays, I'm going to pick the Rays to win that series. I think the White Sox are going to win one game And I think the Red Sox are going to get swept. I just don't see the Red Sox being better than this Rays team, and I don't see them being better for a single game. The one thing that could really go the Red Sox way is this sense of, remember where they were just a couple of weeks ago when they lost those, they got swept by the Yankees and they lost those games to Baltimore. They did not look like a playoff team. We were all writing them off. And remember that they were down 5-1 on Sunday, knowing that the Blue Jays were in the middle of a rout. And if they didn't come back from that 5-1 hole, they would have to played the Blue Jays, and they probably would have lost. And even if they did lose, they would have to go to Yankee Stadium. And who knows how the wild card game would have been different. So there is a sense of house money with this Red Sox team. Nobody thought they were going to be a big-time contender. And here they are. Here they are, moving on to the division series. My official pick is I'm still picking the Rays to sweep them. But if they can steal one game in Tampa Bay, that'll be interesting, which also can be said about the Chicago-Houston series. If they could steal one game, if they could take advantage of Lance McCullers or Framber Valdez being shaky in that first game. I like Lance Lynn as the game one starter against Lance McCullers. It's a Lance series going on in Chicago, actually in Houston, starting tomorrow afternoon. I do want to see the White Sox win. I like a ton of the players on the White Sox. I'd like to see that happen. Not sure how realistic that's going to be. I just think the Astros are just a tick better than them across the board. But if Valdez has a bad start or McCullers Jr. has one bad start, this suddenly turns into a game. And the way that they've played all year, they like to take advantage of teams when they're on the ropes. So we'll see what happens. We got ourselves not quite a full slate of games. Man, I can't wait. Friday is when you have 4 playoff games on the same day, or as I like to call it, heaven. Is this heaven? Is this Iowa? No. This is Locked On MLB, and we're going to be talking all postseason. I'm going to be posting a show every time there's a game on. I'm going to have a new episode of Locked On MLB with some of my thoughts. Some might be a little shorter, some might be a little longer, but I'm always going to post my thoughts, and it's always going to be a few hours after the final game has been played. So go to the free and easy to use Odyssey app and find us wherever you get your podcasts. And thanks for making us your first listen. This has been Locked On MLB for the 7th day of October 2021. I'm your playoff host, Paul Francis Sullivan. Please call me Sully.